I went to work for the Department of Juvenile Justice. I thought I had applied to a regular high school. I'm not from Columbia. I did not know, I had no idea that this was a prison high school for incarcerated 15 to 19-year-old young men. It's a very, very interesting place. I got there, and of course, when I realized, you know, what my mistake, I'm physically ill, because I was fingerprinted, mugshot, and I was driving through a razor wire fence, and I'm going, no, this is the dumbest thing that I have ever done. But it's not, really. Okay, but it was, like I said, it was a very, very interesting place. It was full of young men who had made some really, really dumb, they had done some dumb things, and they had made some really, really bad decisions and some lousy choices in their life. Dominic was one such character. Dominic's reputation preceded him. Of the state's most violent offenders of kid criminals, I guess Dominic had to be one of the most undesirable, unsavory characters ever. Because of his behavior, he was sort of isolated most of the time. He was never in class for very long because he assaulted every teacher he ever had, so he had never passed a class. He'd been with us for years, so you know, we all knew what he was like. So if Dominique was on the hallway, everybody's antenna was up. Dominique was on the hallway one day. It was the change of classes, and I noticed him coming down the hallway. The hallway was filled with students and teachers, and I saw him coming. Oh, he was head and shoulders above the rest of the crowd. Just big, lumbering. Those arms and hands were just swishing by his side like the branches of a palm tree, you know. And he's the sort of person that when, this is sort of bad to say, I guess, but you would see him coming and you just had to just, you know, shudder. Here comes Dominique. Well, Dominique brushed past me, and as he went past me, he had this permanent snarl. And he said, "I'm gonna get in you class." Well, I said, "Great. I am really looking forward to it, Dominique. You know, when's this gonna happen?" He just snarled. So day after day, he did this. And finally, you know, one day, he brushed past me and into my classroom. And he said, "You next." And I said, "Wonderful. I have been waiting for a person like you to come into my classroom." I'm frantic. I'm trying to think. I've heard you've got great skills. I know. I would love for you to work on a special project with me. Do you think you'd be able to work on a project with me? Would you be willing to do that? Well, this sort of surprised him. Actually, it surprised me too, because then I had to come up with a project. But I did. And I wish that I could tell you, because of my positive attitude and my willingness to work with him, that every day was a great day. But I'll tell you, we had our battles. I mean, papers would get torn up, the room would get trashed, books would be thrown, chairs would go flying. But that's just what I did. But we weathered the storm. We weathered the storm. And what I noticed was that Dominique was managing to stay in school. And it came the time he was going to be released. I was again standing outside in the hallway, leaning against the wall. You know how we hold up the walls all the time. And came Dominique. He sidled up beside me, and he checked the hallway both ways because he did not want to be overheard. snarl, not quite so much of a snarl so much, but in that low country mumble, that dialect he had, he leaned over and he said, "You be the only person ever show me respect. You be my strength." Well, Dominique taught me a lot of things that year. You know, you work in a difficult situation with difficult people, and you hope that maybe you'll change them, but they end up changing you. The two really big things I learned from Dominique, one was that a little respect goes a really long way. And the other one is that success breeds success. Don't let a dumb idea get you down. You might do some dumb things. I do them all the time, I'm sorry. But then sometimes dumb things just happen to you. Maybe you've got new quotas to meet, new standards. You're under new ownership, new management. Maybe you're having to do things a whole new way because of our economy, and your business has changed. Whatever that change is, you know, give it a shot. Take a dumb idea, give it a daring strategy, and you might be surprised that it turns into a divine appointment. Make those things that happen to you work for you. In the case of Dominique, when he was about to be released, you know, he should never have been placed with me, never. He was particularly dangerous toward authority figures and women in particular, not just any women, all women. Should never have been with me. But we worked together and he left. I had to check out his records when he left because I wanted to know, you know, did he pass anybody's class besides mine? And so I checked the records, and I noticed that Dominique, that kid who had assaulted every teacher he ever had, Dominique, that kid who had never passed a class, had made the honor roll. I had to smile because I thought, divine appointment.